morning. So today we are going on a road trip into the wild and snowy woods to ride some of the most off-road capable trucks. It is currently slightly past 7 AM and we are coming to the end of the winter, so in parts it is pretty muddy and disgusting, which is not particularly a bad thing since we'll be looking at comparing a military Caterpillar track from Swedish Army and a six-wheeled monster with a giant low-pressure tyres, probably the size of me, with the aim to go into the woods and get stuck and hopefully to see which one outperforms another. So our mini expedition takes a different turn. We accidentally took the wrong route, which took us to some really muddy spots where we got stuck a few times and punctured our tyre, which we couldn't unscrew because the balls just rusted inside, and that we definitely lost a few hours there. But we are back on the route and we should be arriving soon, but it's already 11 and the sun will start heading down soon, so we need to speed up. We are finally here. It's 12 PM and it's time to get going before the sun sets. For the start, it's probably good to explain ourselves and let you know what the hell are we even looking at here. Right in front of you is a 6x6 TREKOL Vega, which is a floating six-wheeled all-terrain vehicle with extremely impressive looking tyres. Today we'll be taking it for a spin, but tomorrow we'll look at its competitor, which is hard to call one since it's a bit over 50 years old now, but for sure it could still kick some ass. In a nutshell, TREKOL is a Russian company known for manufacturing rugged off-road vehicles, designed to endure the most extreme conditions, whether it is temperature-wise or heavy mud or deep snow, or even open waters. You know it's heavy duty as you see its operation temperature range, which floats from -60 to +45 degrees Celsius. But the most lingering question is, how well does it drive? You don't often see them, but TREKOLs are in high value by many countries, especially by those with loads of untouched nature left over. They're designed for operation in swamps and snow. They're utilised in transportation, rescue operations and military purposes. Usually energy companies use TREKOls to transport and support workers in remote locations where they stay for weeks during their deployment. But I guess the most used TREKOL finds is in the nature reserves, where geologists often use them due to their ability to traverse any sort of ground without causing no damage to the vegetation cover at all. And increasingly they find their way into the private hands for hunting and personal use. The most distinctive feature of this car, and essentially the economical foundation behind the whole brand, lies in its unique tyres. It is not by chance that these tyres are present in the main part of the company's logo. TREKOL sells and develops these tyres in-house, and that's essentially how the company even started back in the days. I don't have to tell you that compared to the conventional off-road tyres, these tyres have significantly large diameter, providing an incredible ground clearance. Yet their main advantage goes beyond this. The name TREKOL is derived from the words transport ecologically, as the vehicle traverses through the mossy or any sort of green covering without causing any sort of damage to it. So how does this work? These tyres have a high shock absorption and their low ground pressure serves as a key off-road capability. Its elastic casing minimises road damage by effectively absorbing all bumps and rocks. The low internal pressure, which is usually around 0.3 to 0.6 bars, and a well-balanced ratio of the tyre mass to volume, create the effect of low ground pressure of only 100 to 400 grams per centimetre squared, which is evenly distributed across the entire contact patch. This is significantly less than a contact patch of the average human footprint. As a result, despite its impressive size, the vehicle's ground pressure is much lower than the pressure I exert just standing on the ground. So in theory, if that thing were to drive over me, I should barely feel it. And hence, TREKOL can even travel on thin ice, and due to the large volume of air in the tyres, it can overcome deep waters without sinking. The tubeless tyre is airtight, made possible by a special rim that attaches radially to the wheel. Consequently, even at very low pressures, the tyre does not rotate on the rim. Furthermore, its flexible properties provide superb resistance to punctures and cuts. At first glance, it may seem counterintuitive that hitting a sharp rock would simply tear this tyre apart, but in reality, its flexibility makes such damage almost impossible. The declared tyre lifespan is 80,000 kilometers, provided that no more than 50% is on solid ground, but who buys it to go in solid ground? It is interesting that even with such large wheels and such a low pressure tyres, the power steering works perfectly fine, but it doesn't feel usual. It is kind of peculiar as of gliding on the air cushions, no wonder why it's that. Other than that, I have no issues with the steering at all. Moreover, it absorbs all the bumps and rocks without any noticeable vibrations in the cabin. I thought it does sway a lot. The body roll is unavoidable in this setup, and in corners it feels as we're about to roll over every time we do a turn. This car is nearly 6 meters long and just under 3 meters tall, and that's only for the smaller version. The company has an even larger monster for extremely heavy duty situations. Then what is this one for? Until recently the car body was made out of fiberglass, however the company decided to switch to a more familiar material for their target audience. People trust aluminium a bit more than fiberglass, I guess. But the weight of the car with an aluminium body remained pretty much the same, totaling to 2,900 kilograms. In terms of width, TREKOL fits with the permitted dimensions for driving on a public road, so if you hold a tractor license you'll be fine doing so. The car is constructed using the sandwich panels, where the inner and outer shells is filled with a thick reinforced polystyrene, keeping you warm even in -60. The vehicle is equipped with all required off-road features, including storage compartments, LED searchlights on the roof, reinforced bumpers, and of course a winch. After all, it would be incomplete without one. TREKOL is a blend of components from several brands that manufacture mass-produced cars. It is constructed using the basic power units from serial cars produced by Gas, UAZ and even Hyundai. Under the hood, there is a Hyundai D4BH diesel engine with a power output of about 100 horsepower and a torque of 230 Nm. But you can get a cheaper non-Hyundai engine which is less torqueier. Thanks to huge size wheels which achieve an excellent ground clearance of nearly half a metre, this not only allows us to drive anywhere we want to, but it's also quite convenient to easily inspect the undercarriage. The frame is fully manufactured by TREKOL team, and right here are the custom-made drive axles based on the UAZ components, which were heavily modified to withstand the off-roading loads. And so right here are the transfer cases. Both of them are from the gas vehicles, but they were also heavily modified. The front transfer case distributes the torque between the first and this middle axis, and in the most challenging off-road conditions, the driver can engage his third axle, giving power to all 6 wheels. The vehicle comes with a 110 litre fuel tank, but considering the terrain in which it is exploited, bringing along a few extra fuel cans for the added peace of mind is a good idea. The payload capacity is relatively small, only 600 kilograms, which certainly loses the Swedish oil tank that we are driving in tomorrow. I mean, 600 may seem much, but not after you load a few people and their luggage and with a few extra cans of petrol. Inside there are 8 seating spaces. The driver and the passengers are as usual, and benches for another 6. The inside is like any other regular car. It is actually quite pleasant, but as always does feel cheap and not without some flaws, but it was never meant to be business class out here. The body plastic is covered with soft carpet, and the driver and passenger seats and couches in the living module are wrapped in cheap Fox leather, and the crew seats come with stiff, uncomfortable adjustment levers. I probably shouldn't complain, as the comfort in this car is by far better than any other off-roaders. On the bright side, the visibility is excellent, sitting nice and high. I thought getting used to the car's dimensions takes some time. Especially what I did notice is when there is an obstacle or some person at the very front of the car, then it's completely blocked from my sight by the bonnet. The dashboard, like many other interior components, is taken from the budget mass-produced gas car. Overall, it is very civilized, with plenty of storage compartments, USB charging and electrical outlets. Hence we can clearly see the body shape of the car from which the dashboard was taken. Of course it had to be extended with these metal overlays, but in the end it does fit nicely, and even adding some convenience. You have a solid surface to chuck your off-road equipment here, probably a whole shovel will fit here. Additionally, we have instruments for the tyre pressure and the gauges for centralized tyre inflation. On this central panel, we can see forced activation of the radiator fan in case the car is overheating or if the temperature sensor fails. An additional pump helps to circulate the antifreeze fluids throughout the system. 5-speed manual transmission from Hyundai, but in addition to the gear lever we have this. Well, here we need to figure out what does what. In short, the left lever should engage the inner axle differential lock, the middle one as a low gear, and the one on the right should engage the third axle. Because TREKOL only has the full drive on the front two axles, the rear remains disengaged until you meet some serious off-road. So to enter into the living module, we have to take the back door. The height here is quite generous. I can almost stand here with the back straight. And of course, being an expedition vehicle, it's normally equipped with the additional storage compartments all over the car. And I do know that these benches can somehow be unfolded, creating a wider sleeping spaces, but seems they're not. Either way, in the middle, we have the extremely robust climate unit, just a solid brick for the vents. That'll probably do the job for this off-roader. Let's go and find some deep spots. Disc brakes from the light track have been installed here, which do look absolutely tiny. Initially I was concerned that they won't stop TREKOL at all, but on the other hand we haven't exceeded 50 km/h and we have hardly used the brakes on that route. Moreover, the vehicle itself is not as heavy as it looks, which makes them sufficient enough. Certainly, for someone driving this vehicle for the first time, it could be quite the challenge not to get confused with all of these sticking out levers. No idea in what sequence they have to be pulled. Perhaps initially I engage the inner axle differential lock, then switch to low gear and finally connect the rear axle. So just like the 6x6 G-Wagon, the tyre inflation is carried out centrally from the cabin. Moreover, we do not need to stop to adjust the tyre pressure. All of this can be done while driving. Let's slightly deflate the wheels as we're about to cross this river, dropping the tyre pressure to 0.3 bars. At such a pressure, the tyre should significantly deform, giving us a much wider patch of contact with the ground. Don't know how deep it is, so we may just see TREKOL's floating capabilities. Apparently TREKOL is a real good swimmer, but a very slow one, since it solely relies on the rotation of the wheels. But if you want to go faster though, you can purchase a water thrust system driven by the engine for only €1,000 from the official TREKOL store, or you can install the mounts for the boat motor and use TREKOL for your fishing trips. The price for this monster is okay reasonable, but given that these vehicles are typically tailor-made for specific clients, their cost can vary considerably based on the specifications. Prices range from 66 to 90,000 euros based on the chosen package. Still, high price wouldn't be justified considering that many of the truck components are sourced from economy class cars and modified to fit here. And certainly some of the making quality and finish is not reaching the premium segment. After a few years of use, we can clearly see some of the wear and tear as well as some patches of rust. I guess that is still fine, but I wouldn't want to pay anything over 70 grand for this car. So TREKOL has convincingly demonstrated us its capability as a reasonably comfortable means of reaching the most remote destinations. But comfort takes the backseat to the primary reason people are investing in this vehicle. This absolute beast not only avoids getting stuck but effortlessly navigates through the most extreme terrains in which only a few vehicles on our planet will be able to go through. It is definitely one of the most fun experiences I had in a while, but what's interesting is whether this modern engineering in the face of this truck can outcompete the Caterpillar classics from the 70s. But let's leave this question for the next video.